Today, I'm going to teach you how to begin to learn who you actually are. And I want to start by saying, I can't tell you how many people in their 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, even 70s don't know who they are. In a lot of ways, I'm still learning who I am. And the reason is so many of us grow up in homes and cultures that forced us to suppress our authentic nature, making it really normal to not know yourself. Last time I shared many different reasons why this happened, so I'm going to link that below. Now, it is important to be connected to ourselves and to know who we are. It makes us better friends and partners, and it also makes us feel more fulfilled and more confident. So now I'm going to teach you how to begin a journey to get back in touch with yourself. Remember, this is a journey. Self-discovery is something that you need to commit to practicing on a regular basis and to stay patient with yourself along the way. But before we get started, I want to talk about what makes us ourselves. We all have unique traits, gifts, and passions. You might not know what those things are right now, and that's okay, but I promise you, each of us has these things. And if you don't know that about yourself, you can begin to reconnect with yourself by going within to learn about yourself. So now I'm going to take you through my 4-step process for self-discovery. You're going to want to ask yourself the following questions. The first question is, what do I value? Our values are a huge part of who we are. Values are things that are most important to us. And I like to think of values as a pathway to finding out what we're meant to do. So maybe you want to get a journal or a notebook and start to write down what's most important to you. These are called personal values. You might value spending time with your family or maybe time in nature. Some of you might value the freedom to make your own choices. You might value being able to cook at home, being able to travel, or you might value alone time, or maybe connection with other people. Just take some time to begin to explore and journal what things are most important to you. Now keep in mind, it's really normal not to have much come up, especially if we're not used to asking ourselves these questions. So be patient with yourself. Many of us haven't had the space or the time to reflect on our own values. Having this time and space is really important. A lot of us have values instilled in us that actually aren't our own. So taking time to explore what's important to us guides us closer to discovering who we are. And we want to know our values because it actually helps us make choices that are actually aligned or that are meant for us. And when we don't know what our values are, we're really just following what other people want for us instead of what's actually best for us. So here's an example. If one of my core values is time spent with family, that might mean turning down some invitations with friends, or maybe even turning down a promotion at work that might keep me away from my family. Or if one of my core values is excelling at work, that might mean saying yes to every opportunity at work that comes my way. Knowing our values makes our decisions easier. The second question that you want to ask yourself is, what's exciting for me right now? I want you to think back to a time in your childhood when you were really excited about something. When you shared it with other people, maybe you had a friend tell you that it just wasn't cool. Or maybe you had a family member who just sort of blew it off. In those moments, we might learn that we can't even be excited, or that what's exciting to us isn't exciting to other people. So I want you to start to think about excitement as something to pay attention to. So when you notice yourself excited or interested in something, I want you to follow that impulse. Maybe you're curious about a new book or a podcast, or you feel your interest piqued by something someone says in a conversation. Excitement is actually our pathway to our interest and our passions. When we're naturally excited about something, it's a calling to explore it more so that we get used to actually taking our excitement seriously and exploring it. And the more we do that, the more we begin to understand what our true passions are. So for the next 30 days, start to notice what naturally captures your excitement and start to take small steps to follow that. The third question that you want to ask yourself is, what are my unique skills? Some of us are born natural leaders. Some of us are really creative and artistic. Others are incredible at keeping homes or cooking or caring for other people. In many of our childhood homes and in society, only some skills are valued. And because of this, we might look past our own unique skills and talents, or we might never have the opportunity to learn what they actually are. So, for the next 30 days, I want you to notice what you're naturally drawn to and what you're naturally good at. You can also ask people closest to you. Ask them what they notice is unique about you. Maybe you're great at remembering information, or you're always curious, or maybe you're really good at making people feel comfortable and welcome. You want to start to notice these skills and start to speak openly about them and nourish them. So many of us only know the negative things about ourselves. We only know what we're bad at or what we can't do. And the truth is, we might be bad at many things, but we want to start to notice and focus on what we're actually good at as we truly get to know ourselves. And the fourth question that you want to start to ask yourself is, where do I find peace? Now, this is a question that you're going to start to ask yourself throughout your day. You're going to practice tuning into your body and your mind to notice when you feel at peace or at ease. This is going to be where you feel the most yourself. Maybe it's when you wake up and you have a cup of coffee in your kitchen in the morning. Maybe it's when you're at the park with your dog. Or maybe it's when you're with a group of friends. Maybe you feel really at peace when you're alone, getting some space. Just simply notice those moments where your body feels calm and notice who you're surrounded by and what activity you're doing in those moments. After you spend some time learning about yourself in this way, you're going to want to intentionally plan more time where you're doing these things on a regular basis. So these are my 4 steps and questions to ask yourself to begin your own journey of self-discovery. You might want to pause and write these steps down. And remember, take your time with this process. Even spending a little bit of time each day exploring these things will be so very helpful. Because remember, you won't actually learn who you are until you actually spend the time exploring these questions and recognizing the parts of yourself that you never got to express. And as you go through this journey, I'd love to hear some of your answers. Leave them in the comments below.